So what excites you? Why do you get up and like every morning? Like what excites you about being the CEO of Hawke Media?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, there's a few things. It's with life in general, and you commented on it with the hobby thing too. I just have this, I'm not a very religious person, very agnostic. And I know this sounds like a weird tangent, but it's going to come back. So I have no idea what happens after we're here, after we die, et cetera. So with that, and that means I'm not atheist. I think that's as ridiculous as being hyper-religious in terms of how atheists talk about hyper-religious, like they're ignorant. I'm like, so are you. Like, how can you make that call? So I'm very, by definition, agnostic. And why I say that is I don't know what happens after this, so I feel like I better take full advantage of everything that life has to offer. Personally, professionally, family, I want to experience everything because I don't know whether we die and that's it. I don't know if we die and we have an afterlife, but because I don't know, I'm going to hedge against that and just do everything I can here. And so what that means is I want to experience everything that sounds fun to me, and that includes professional. Like I love the idea of building something, leaving a legacy, and like really like, and so what drives me in business is like, we call it the sandbox, but because we've built this thing that has a great mission and something that can really help tons of people, which is really fulfilling too, and that is a big part, it also allows me to try new things all the time. Like we've bought 6 agencies and we're hopefully going to close 1 or 2 more by the end of the year. We're now trying to buy a piece of software. We've never done that before. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
We just expanded into Canada. We're now expanding overseas. We're working on expanding into Asia and Europe at the same time. These are all things I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's what drives me. It's like, let's try it. I don't know. Like, let's figure it out. Like this whole, not to get too philosophical, but this whole framework of like how we've built capitalism and the world runs, it's like, it's all construct that's like kind of bullshit. But since it is, like, let's have fun with it. Let's go figure out like, okay, so now we figured out, how to expand overseas, and we're figuring out M&A, and now we're figuring out how to invest and build a venture fund, and we're figuring out this financing arm, and it's my book's coming out. Like, to say what takes the energy out of me is when I'm dealing with the same shit over and over again, which again goes back to delegating and hiring and building infrastructure and process. So I'm happy to solve challenges and problems. Like that's par for the course with running a business. But if I'm solving the same fucking problem that we've already developed processes to, it drives me nuts. And so then I end up building things to make sure that, like, if I see the same problem twice, then I'll build something to make sure we never see the same problem twice again. So it's being proactive about that and getting it done.
That's the secret to business, really.
Yeah.
You're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
It's never going to end. And that, again, was one of the biggest realizations I had in business, which made it more fun, was if you're running a business, it is going to be a shit show permanently. It doesn't end. There's no finish line. Like, look at Jeff Bezos, look at Mark Zuckerberg, look at the biggest CEOs and founders and whatever in the world are always going to dealing with crap. Like look at Mark right now with like, he's having to deal with Congress and not supply chain, but trade wars and all these different things. Apple, Tim Cook, same thing. Like it's not like their problems went away because they got rich. It just doesn't ever happen.
They just sometimes become bigger problems that you have to solve, right?
And so once you stop acting like it's happening to you and you go, no, I chose to do this. Like that's part of it. I signed up for this. Then it's not as big. It's not a problem. It's just a challenge and part of the job. And once you get through that, it becomes fun.
Sometimes it's interesting when, one of the things that we started to do is becoming vulnerable with the mistakes that we make. And actually creating blog posts about it, being vulnerable, like, hey, listen, we're all human. One of the issues that we made with our agency, I'll just give you a quick example. It's a human error. We do a lot of marketing direct to, and so one of our people just accidentally they forgot a digit on a phone number, right? And it went live on the website. And so the client called us up and was like, what the heck? I've been losing calls for like the past 3 days. We're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So then what we did was we built a script that goes out to every single client's website every single day and checks to make sure that it validates, right?
And that's the key is, mistakes will happen. It's figuring out a solution that just doesn't happen again.